Happy Monday, everyone. This is the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. I am your host, but you already knew that. I am your host, Jasmar Jazz Bennett, mother, educator, host, and I have a dynamic show for you tonight. I'm so glad that you have tuned in. Some of you, if you come in and you catch the replay, make sure you put replay in the comment section. So the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast airs every Monday at 7 p.m. on IG Live, but you can also find me on all podcast platforms, and you can find me on YouTube. Just search at Jazzy, that's Jazzie, Conversations with Jazz, and then there you have it. I would love for you to subscribe and to be a part of my Jazzy crew. And so if you are a part of my Jazzy crew, you know that my favorite day of the week is Monday. Monday is that day where you get to calibrate, right? You actually get to recalibrate from last week. Since we are moving into another month, we are in the month of May, and the month of May, we are going to thrive, right? It is a month that we are going to get renewed. We're going to thrive. We're going to set new goals. We're going to crush new goals, new mindsets, and we're going to carry out with what our goals were for 2023, right? So I hope you had a fantastic Monday like I had, because Mondays are my days for intentionality. And when I mean intentionality, you have to set your goals and just go after them fearlessly. So if you are a part of my Jazzy crew, what I want you to do is let everybody know where you are. Where are you listening from? Where are you tuning in from? You can tell me how your day went. You can tell me all of those good things. I want you to engage in this podcast episode because I have a special episode for episode 78. So listen, you know that the basis behind my podcast is to definitely celebrate the power of the comeback. I truly believe that with God, with the right resources, and with you putting in your due diligence, by you doing the work, I feel that you can come back from anything. And so, with every guest that I've had before, the guest that I have tonight is doing just that. She has made an incredible comeback, but when you listen to her story, when you listen to the makings and the fiber of her beings, you know how some people are just gold diggers by nature? Well, she's definitely a gold digger, and you know how I love my gold diggers, right? So I'm going to introduce to you my very special guest for tonight. Her name is Sakeya Donaldson, but she goes by Sakeya the Great. And I've been encouraging you guys to do your research on her, to follow her story. I love everything about her story. She's resilient and she's just dope, right? And so I will be meeting her for the first time on this interview, but I'm going to give you some stats about Sakeya. So she's a wardrobe designer and she's a respected enthusiast with fashion. And you know how I love me some fashion, so we're going to get into a very good conversation, right? So Sakeya has a lot of gems that she has possessed within the fashion industry for decades. And I can tell that she's very passionate about it. She has accumulated a position where she's a Southern bred activist. I love me a good Southern girl. She's an educator, an entrepreneur, and she uses her platform to educate, empower, and engage in the name of evolution. She is a proud alumni of Atlanta's historic Clark University. All right, HBCUs, stand up HBCUs, right? So included in her credits, she has also dealt with luxury retail coordination, and she has also done key costuming on different sets. Now, she was able to attend the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT, which is in New York City. And along the way, she has an educational focus that came with a coveted internship. If you know anything about Jeffries, then you know that it is a big deal to have an internship at Jeffries in New York. And she made history by becoming the first African-American intern in the company's history. She's been a styling assistant with celebrity stylist Tamika Raymond. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, just think about Usher, right? So she has been an intern with Tamika. She styled different celebrities as Outkast, Patti LaBelle, Sierra, T.I., Young Jeezy, and also Nicki Minaj. Now, she's also been a quick change stylist on a special R&B artist set. If Confessions rings a bell, you know I'm talking about Usher Raymond. And she's also been a costuming regular for the Housewives of Atlanta, just to name a few, because she's done music videos, she's done countless articles, photo shoots, and world tours. What I love about her is that she's also an educator. And you know that educators have a special place in my heart, with me being an educator as well. So she has released 2 books, not one, but 2. And we're going to talk about those 2 books as soon as she comes on. Now, she's committed to doing civic work and to being a philanthropist, because there was something in her story that landed her in a situation that I'm pretty sure we're going to get into as soon as I bring her on, and we're going to learn all about her comeback story. So without further ado, I am going to bring her on, and I want you guys to give a special warm of tonight, Miss Sakeya Donaldson. And so she will be coming in very shortly. I see that I have several of you on. Hi, Sakeya. How are you today?
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm going to tell you that you did not disappoint, because I was watching a video of you, because I try to do my due diligence by doing my research. And so you did an unveiling, because it is my ultimate goal. I'm trying to figure out what brand I want to do it with, but I'm going to do me a little unveiling package. And so you did an unveiling with, you know, some eyewear. And so I said in my head, I was like, I wonder if she's going to be wearing some fly glasses. And you did not disappoint, because I'm like, you with the yellow tinted glasses. I was like, I called it. So how are you? How are you, gorgeous?
Hey, how are you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you. How are you? I'm good. It's the first Monday of May. It's Met Gala May.
Listen.
Met Gala Monday. Monday.
I love that. And then leave it up to you to give it a fashion reference. So I just, I'm just like, it's motivational Monday. You up here with the Met Gala.
It's Met Gala Monday. Gala. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So do you have like sites on styling? Have you ever styled anyone for the Met Gala?
I have not. That has actually been an ultimate goal of mine, to actually attend the Met, right? So last year, I was in New York for the U.S. Open when Serena retired at the Open. Yeah. And while I was there, I actually went to the Met, because what happens is that after the Met Gala, whatever the theme is, they have an exhibit, right? So last year, I can't remember what the theme was, but I went to the exhibit and I was able to see a lot of the dresses and costumes and things like that everybody had wore. So I can't wait to go this year, because the theme is Karl Lagerfeld. So I can just imagine the girls just gonna bring the vintage Chanel out tonight, and I'm here for it.
Listen, Chanel happens to be one of my favorite brands. And so, I think I'm going to have my eye on that one as well. You know, when you think back to previous Met Galas, who has been like one of your top favorites in terms of how they come at the Met Gala?
Janelle Monáe.
Isn't she dope?
She
just perfection.
It's like when you can
even trying. I said without even trying.
Right. It's like when you can commit to a color scheme. Like, I'm just gonna wear black and white.
Just black and white.
I'm just gonna body y'all in black and white. I ain't doing no color. Y'all gonna get this black and white, and I'm gonna give it to y'all every single chance I get. And Janelle Monáe is like one of my fashion icons. I just think she is the dopest. So I'm always excited to see Janelle when she pops out. I love Gwen Stefani. Yeah. I haven't seen her there lately, but I've been a fan of Gwen Stefani's ever since she was with No Doubt. I just think she's like one of the flyest chicks ever. She's like the red lip bandit, you know. Yes. And then the queen, Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo.
I promise I didn't think you were going to say J-Lo.
Yeah. J-Lo might be, J-Lo and Rihanna are like my
I was
top,
gonna say, because that's who I was thinking. That's who I was thinking.
Top two fashion icons of all time.
Yeah.
I would put J-Lo a little over Rihanna just because J-Lo has had a longer run, like unprecedented, like 0 fumbles. Like you will be hard pressed to find 3 photos of Jennifer Lopez, like not on point. And then just like the cultural impact that she's had, you know, with fashion and her looks and that green Versace dress. Like a lot of people don't know that dress started Google Images. Like Google, just think of Google Images. Like J-Lo started that because so many people wanted to know about the dress that Google had to put an image tab on there with, like, come on,
like who does that?
Yeah, like she reconstructed the internet.
Right.
Like, right. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna find out some more about you when it comes to fashion and how you came to be the dope girl that you are, the dope woman that you are. And so I always start my show off with 21 questions from Jazz. So I'm just gonna ask you a series of questions, and you just let them drip. So your responses, you just let whatever comes to mind first drop. Okay. Just so people can get to know you. Okay. All right. So question number 1 is, I know that you are a Southern girl, but where exactly are you from?
Tampa, Florida.
Girl. From the 813. I didn't know you was from the 813.
County.
You from Hillsborough County. Okay. You know, because I'm from Polk County, so y'all adopted. You know, we used to have our area code 941, and it's like, y'all stole our little area code, so we're just 863, but that's okay. You know, 941, 813, and okay, so
we come in peace.
You come in peace, okay. We love you. You already know that in order for us to tell people where we're from in Polk County, we have to say, you know, in between
Orlando and Tampa.
You know, we in between Tampa and Orlando. So, all right. So you are a Bay Area girl. All right. So what's your favorite part about being from Tampa?
I like the weather.
The weather,
I guess.
Okay.
Even though I was born in Tampa, I left Tampa when I was like 15. Okay. So like my adult life I spent in Atlanta, but born and raised, I was born and raised in Tampa.
Gotcha.
So I like
Gotcha.
the weather. The weather's here is cool.
Cool beans. All right. So did you always know what you wanted to be when you were younger?
Yeah, I did. I just didn't know what it was called, right? So I just remember around 9 years old, I figured that I wanted to do something in fashion. I just didn't know what it is that I wanted to do. And when I was in college at Clark, I was working at a music studio in Atlanta. It was actually D-Lo. It was Rashida and Kirk's studio. That was like my first industry job. And then I worked at Patchwork for a little while. So if people know about, you know, Atlanta music scene, Patchwork is like the holy grail of recording studios in Atlanta. And so one of the producers that was interning there, because people used to always compliment me like on the way that I dressed and things like that. And it was just like, Sakeya, you should be a stylist. And I was just like, well, what is that? Yeah. And they were like, oh, you know, you can dress artists and they'll pay you. I'm like, they'll pay me like to go to the mall, sign me up. Like that's what I want to do. Right. And once I figured out that was the option, that's what we did.
I got you. Yeah. I got you. So I like that. I like that a lot. Because I like when people are living in their passion. So I have much respect for that. And so I pinned you as someone who's definitely doing that. So how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? I'm pretty bold, I would say. Like, I'm bold in my thinking. I'm bold in my movements. I'm bold in my beliefs. And I just have the utmost confidence in myself, and I think you have to be pretty bold to do that and to think that you can do that. So yeah, if I could describe myself, I would say in one word, I would say bold.
Have you always been that way?
Yes, I have, and it hasn't always served me.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
It got me in trouble a lot when I was younger. But I've just never been afraid. I've just always been willing to take the risk, and not only take the risk but accept the consequence, right? Like I want the glory if I win or if it works out, but I also take the blame if it doesn't. And not a lot of people could do that. Like they want the glory if everything go right, but if it go to the left, it's like that ain't on me. You know what I mean? And so you have to you have to be able to take the good with the bad. And like, so I've been that way like my whole life. Like if I look back on my life, I've always been a person that was willing to like go against the grain.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know you said that at 15 you moved to Atlanta. So
no,
tell me
why.
15,
no, I didn't move to Atlanta at 15. At 15 I moved to Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, okay. My father lives in Detroit, and I moved to Detroit at 15. And honestly, I'll say Detroit understood my fashion sense, right? Because it was totally different from Florida, right? Like I remember moving to Detroit in the middle of the winter, and I didn't have a coat. And I remember when I walked out of the airport, I was like, what is going on? And like my dad had to take me straight to the mall, right? And so I basically got a whole new wardrobe. So I started learning about layering, right? I started learning about textures. I started learning about coats as opposed to windbreakers. You know, you live in Tampa, you got a good solid windbreaker, and it's gonna take you through. You know what I mean? And I learned about like outerwear and like gloves and scarves and hats and how you can use them to elevate your look. And then Detroit got its own flavor. You know, I learned about the Coogis and the Gators and the Cartiers and the, you know, they got their own style. So from the age of like 15 to 18 till I graduated from high school, that's where I think I really honed my style. And because I had participated like in a lot of hair shows, right? Detroit is big for hair. So that's how I got to meet other girls, because we didn't actually live in Detroit. We lived about 20 minutes outside of Detroit. But I wanted to do everything in Detroit. It was Detroit, Detroit, Detroit. I just wanted to be in Detroit. So I would like sign up for these hair shows with all these like top hairstylists in Detroit, and they'd be cutting my hair and dyeing it. And my dad was just like, oh my God. But you know, I got to meet like all the fly girls in the city and hang out with them and just kind of see how they moved and kind of get their vibe. So I think Detroit, like if I got to say one place where I really developed my personal style, I would say it was in Detroit. And then once I graduated from high school, I moved to Atlanta to go to college.
Got you. So, you know, one time for the D, you know, I know that, you know, my youth family, you know, that I met that came from the D. Like that's, you know, when you go to HBCU, you know, you're going to meet people from everywhere. So it doesn't matter if you're from that little small sheltered town or city, you're going to find someone. So I had a lot of friends that were from the D. So I know that when they go back and look at this, I know they're going to be very appreciative that you really, really honed in on the Detroit culture. So listen, so I mentioned going to FAMU. So you went to you went to Clark, Atlanta. So tell me about that. Why Clark?
I just wanted to get to the A. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. Like I
you ain't even like, gonna hold me. Don't hold me.
Like when I was in high school, I used to go on these Black college tours, and I went to FAM. I visited FAM. I visited Howard. I visited Tennessee State. It was like between Tennessee State and Clark. Those was my two final choices because I got accepted into both. And then what sealed it for me, I had came down to Atlanta with my dad. And this was like 97. So it's right after the Olympics. Like Atlanta's on fire. And I was the biggest Goody Mob fan. Like I love the Goody Mob.
Girl, me too. That look, I play Black Ice almost every day. They don't dance anymore. I'm doing a skit. I'm doing all that.
So I come down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm in Lenox Mall, and I see Big Gift. And I'm just like, so y'all just got celebrities walking around the mall. I'm coming here. This is where I'm coming. I'm coming to Atlanta. That's it. Final. Pack it up. We going to Atlanta. And that's how so shout out to Big Gift. Shout out to Big Gift for the mighty Goody Mob. That's who got me to Atlanta. And every time I run into Gift, I tell him that story, and me and his wife actually are good friends. She's a makeup artist. We've worked on somebody put All They Do Is This. People don't dance no more.
I'm telling you. Like, I still remember, like, because my cousin and all of us, like, we would literally just reenact the skit and go into that, like, just like, look.
Well, my name is Sugar Low, and this is for you. We've been so fast. What can I say?
I'm trying to tell you now. I ain't playing with
for sure. So that's how I ended up in Atlanta. Real talk.
I feel you. I just came back from the A. I went to the Black Podcast Effect Network.
Oh, network. Charlamagne just did.
Yes, and that was amazing. And I hadn't been to. Well, I had just come from Atlanta because I went on a college tour with kids. You know, trying to brighten their horizons. And we went to Clark. We went to Georgia Tech and all of that. But it's just something about being in the A. And so it just brought back memories, and it just gives you like this different vibe and feeling. And so what's your fondest memory of being at an HBCU, Clark, Atlanta, back then? Like, what's your fondest memory there?
Okay. So it's so weird because when I was at Clark, I didn't do college stuff because I'm in a big city, right? So I can live the big city life. I guess it would have been different if I would have went to like FAM, and like FAM is the only thing popping in the city. But like, I didn't go to Clark football games. I went to Falcons football games, like stadium right here. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go see the pros. They was doing the Dirty Bird. We done went to the Super Bowl. Like, everything was on 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my most, like, my fondest memory of going to Clark is just like the people that I went to school with, like who we all became and went on to be, and just kind of seeing it at its infancy stage. Like, I remember the dorm, like, that was next to us. It was a few guys that was in that dorm. I remember Don Cannon was in that dorm, and I remember, him DJing in the cafeteria. Now he has Next Generation record label, and he got Jack Harlow, and he got Lil Uzi Vert, and him and Drama really changed the culture. Hebrew Brantley was at Brawley when I was there, and he went on to be like this super dope artist, like world renowned artist. So I really went to school like with some dope people. So I just remember, we was just kids trying to figure it out, not really knowing, what we were doing. We just in the A, like, we just outside.
the innocence of it all. The innocence of it all. Correct. Yeah, I would never trade that experience for anybody. And I get into so many barbershop conversations about, HBCU versus PWI and all that. And I'm like, look, there is no other experience like that. Like, let your child experience that for 4 years. They'll be fine. They can come back. Just let them experience that.
Yeah.
So, Sakeya, like, I've been following you and just trying to familiarize myself with you. And so I have this question for you, because I don't know if we resonate on this or not, but I'm just going to ask it. So how many females do you have, like, in your inner circle? Like, when you say this is just my circle, this is my clique.
3.
I knew it. I knew it. Yeah.
It's a very exclusive club. You know, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me. And I just always say, you know, you have different people in your life for different reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. But just people that I know, like with my eyes closed, with my back turned, they gonna stand on business.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. And I say that, like I chuckled about it, only for the reason of typically when you are a certain type of female, and you know, depending on the trajectory that your life has taken, it just seems that a lot of females who are like really, really business savvy, they're about their business, their bosses. It seems like that circle is very tight because you learn some lessons along the way. And so so that is something that we do vibe on. And so if you had your choice on any given day, are you more comfortable with your male friends or your girlfriends?
100% my male friends.
Why?
I have like 672 male friends.
I know that's right.
And
that's right.
I don't even know why. Like I'm just the cool girl, you know, that's just gonna hang out. But you know, it's just, I don't think it's by design. It's just it just is what it is.
It's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
It's just a natural thing. And I picked that up from you because I'm the same way. Like I'm so much at peace and at solace when I'm in my state of solace when I'm around dudes, and it's just a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
It's just a different type of vibe, you know. And so I feel you on that. If you were in Atlanta, because again, these are just sporadic questions. If you were in Atlanta, what's your go-to restaurant?
For what? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Ooh. Let's go with dinner. Let's go with dinner. You know, y'all love a little good brunch fry. Like a brunch fry everywhere.
Breakfast is toast, hands down. Shout out to Tamara. She just opened her second location in Midtown. I tell anybody, Toast is the best restaurant in Atlanta, hands down. The food, the service, the ambiance, the vibe, like it's a well-ran machine.
Love it.
I tell anybody that it's not the best Black-owned restaurant it's the best restaurant in Atlanta. Toast on Lenox. So breakfast, anytime I'm in the city, I'm going to Toast. Like me, like I'm gonna go to Busy Bees. Like every time I'm in the city, I'm going to Busy Bees. I don't care how bad they treat me. I don't care they make me stand outside to get the food. I don't care, you know, a plate at Busy Bees $35. Like it's Busy Bees. Like for me, Busy Bees in Houston, you can never go wrong at Houston.
All right, so I'm gonna take you up on that because I'm telling you, when I come back to Atlanta, I'm literally just going to come to eat. It's really what I'm coming to do. And so, all right. So what about when you're in Tampa? When you're in hometown, where you going?
Tampa got to step their restaurant game up. Golly, I be trying to get a people a chance. Breakfast, I'm gonna go to Oxford Exchange.
Okay.
They got good breakfast. Vibes, just to chill, I'm gonna go to the Rose Bar. To eat, like when I want some good food, I'm gonna go to Cooper's Hall.
Yes.
I don't know about all the other food. They just got one thing on the menu that I eat all the time, and that might be like the best dish that I ever ate in my life. Okay. It's like it's a short rib truffle risotto.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so good.
It is so good. It's so
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you.
So that's about it. It's a few new restaurants that just popped up in the last couple of months that I'm gonna try out, but those are pretty much my go-tos.
Yeah, you know what? And I like a little Seventh and Grove. I got to give them a shout out because you know they're some, you know, my fellow rattlers, so they're trying new things on their menu. But I'm with you on that.
I'm there often.
Yeah. So I love it. Okay.
They collard greens hitting. Shout out to Seventh and Grove collard greens.
Yeah. So I'm trying to tell you can't mess with it. All right, so let's get into some fashion. What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
And who's your favorite designer?
Of all time or right now?
Of all. Give me both. Of all time and of right now.
I would say Karl Lagerfeld. right now, Loewe is killing it. They killing it. They got this shit in chokehold.
What do you like about them?
Okay, like, it's kind of hard for a designer to dominate in multiple categories, right? So when I say different categories, shoes, handbags, ready to wear, opticals, all that, right? And Loewe they're doing that. Like, their sunglasses are the hottest sunglasses. Their shoes are the hottest shoes. Their bags are the hottest bag. You know what I mean? So, because usually, like, when a brand has a moment, it's like, oh, everybody's wearing the Celine trapeze bag, right? And that's it. Just the bag. They're not wearing Celine shades. They're not wearing Celine shoes. They're not wearing Celine clothes. You know what I'm saying? Or everybody's like, oh, you know, Balenciaga had their run like that, where they were dominating the shoe category, the clothes, But right now, I say probably like the last 2 seasons, the way they done had it in the chokehold.
Okay, I like it. Now I love me some. He's just timeless. Like he's just timeless. So so I'm with you on that one as well. What's your least favorite designer brand? It could be someone that you think is overrated, or it just could be someone that you just simply don't like.
I hate Steve Madden.
Yeah.
I do, because, like, bro, you gonna copy everything? Like, damn. Steve Madden gonna copy it. Like, he gonna copy it before the real come out. It's like,
he's gonna make you feel like your shoe size ain't your shoe size, and like, dude, what we doing? What we doing?
Yeah,
you don't like Steve Madden. Okay. I feel you. All right. So if you had to design someone, I'll say this. Who has been your favorite celeb to design so far, to style?
To work with?
Mm-hmm.
I would say T.I.
Okay.
And
interesting.
The reason, first off, because, like, I style a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
But with T.I., shout out to Clay, rest in heaven, to the GOAT, legendary Clay. That was my first big placement, right, in XXL magazine.
Okay.
And Clay put that together, and I just remember I was so nervous.
Yeah.
Because at this time, T.I. was on fire. Like, you saw his trajectory, right? Yeah. You knew within 6 months he was gonna be out of there. So I remember shooting, and we shot with Jonathan Monahan, which is like a legendary, iconic photographer. Yeah. And I just remember being so nervous and like, what if they don't like it? What if they don't this? What, And then I remember, because they wanted him in a suit.
Okay.
And we shot on the green screen, and then they imposed old school behind him, like he was in a dark alley, like leaned up against the old school. So I remember I had some suit options for him, and they were dope, like Paul Smith and Etro, like, and this is like in 03, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was very like contrast, like the patterns and things like that. And he wasn't with it. He wasn't the tip you see now. He was still bankhead tip, right?
Yeah.
So he bucking on the suit. Like, I ain't wearing that. That shit don't match. Like, that's what he told me. It don't match. I was just like, it ain't supposed to match.
Right.
And so I remember him sending one of his homeboys. He like, I got some better suits at home. And I remember him sending one of his homeboys to go get the suits. So we sitting around waiting on these magical suits to come. And when he brought the suits, it was like, bro, we not doing this. They was like Steve Harvey suits, like something he done got from Greenbrier, like pastel. I'm like, bro, we not doing this. So I finally coaxed them, into putting on the suit. And I remember maybe like after the issue had came out, a couple of months, I had went to Grand Hustle, to the studio. And when you walk in Grand Hustle, it was like a billboard. Like they had took the picture and blew it up. Like it covered the whole wall when you first walk in Grand Hustle. So I would like to believe that I am partially responsible for the fly, elevated Clifford Harris that you see now. Because after that, his suit started changing. You know what I mean? Because he was bucking. He was not going for that suit. I'm like, bro, this Paul Smith in Etro.
Right.
Damn, Shawty, this ain't it. I was just like, okay, all right. So, and yeah, so that was important. Oh, I got another one. That was very important because it was my first, right? It was my first it was my first placement. My most iconic just happened maybe a couple months ago.
Okay.
So while I was at FIT, I had interned at Jeffries. And I had went on a field trip while I was at FIT to Pier 59 Studio. So if you're in the fashion industry, you work in editorial, everybody knows about Pier 59. It's legendary. Everybody shoots at Pier 59. So I remember going on a field trip there, and they were like, you know, whenever you become who you're going to become, when you start moving up in the ranks, this is where you'll be shooting at. And I always remember, like, when I blow up, you know, I'm 22, 23. Like, when I blow up, I'm going to be shooting at Pier 59. And I actually had the opportunity to shoot at Pier 59 last October on the day after my birthday. I turned 43. So 20 years exactly from the first day I had went there, I was able to come full circle and shoot at Pier 59 with Lil Meech. We shot Lil Meech from BMF. And we shot him for a Black designer, which is like iconic, right?
Yeah.
And the photographer that was used, you know, he shoots like Chanel campaigns and Versace campaigns. So to be in that space with the Black designer and Lil Meech, like what they did for the culture and for the city of Atlanta, that was on my 43rd birthday, the day after my 43rd birthday. That was iconic. So those are my two. Those are my two
that you did, and I liked it because it was the storytelling that you did behind that. It just resonated with me because it was something that you said years before then. It was something that basically you manifested, like, I'm gonna come back here. And to see you do that, I was like, I absolutely love it. Now I keep hearing you say that your birthday is in October and that you're 43, because I'm 43 and I turned 43 in October. When's your birthday?
18th.
Okay, I'm the 24th, so we missed each other, so we're different times, but that's okay.
Listen, Scorpio,
you know, little Libra. Okay. It's okay. Who would you like to style?
Kendall Jenner.
Okay, that's a good one.
I would like to style Kendall Jenner.
That's a good one. Why her though?
Dope. She dope. Kendall dope. She just like nonchalant dope. Like And I would also like Kendall, and then Idris Elba. He's always been.
I feel like I can see him. Like he's dope and he's suave, and I love that. But I can't, you know how you see some people and you don't necessarily know what their personal style is? So I feel like he would be a great candidate, like to get a stylist to let him imagine what his style aesthetic would be. So I can
because he's always so buttoned up.
Yeah.
Like, you never see him just on a chill day moving around. He always James Bond.
Right.
Tom Ford.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Even when he's DJ, and I feel like and honestly, I do think this because I just watched a video last night, go figure, of him DJing, and I'm like, what's his style aesthetic? Like it's just like he's Right. He just shows up and it's like whatever he wears, he's gonna make it look good. But I feel like, yeah, if he got with a dope stylist, he would be, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. So let's see. How would you describe your own personal style?
My personal style, I would say, is damn. I guess I would say that it's casual, chic, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real big on like building, right? Like
Yeah.
like my top and my bottoms, like it's gonna be for the most part pretty plain,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Mm-hmm.
casual.
Yeah.
I should say not plain, but casual. But I just use other things to elevate it.
Yes.
So yeah.
What's
You
your
know
favorite?
what? Scratch that. I got all different flavors, like real talk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just gotta catch me, and it depends on where I'm going and how I'm feeling. Cause I got 100 styles. You can lie. I got 100 flavors, 100 styles. Shout out to 2 Chainz. That's what it is.
Right.
So yeah, it's just whatever I'm.
What you're feeling, right?
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite accessory? Like I feel like, well, I know that it seems that every good stylist always has like a signature piece where it's just like I style from this and then
work out.
What's that for you?
Mine would be eyewear. I think that's what I'm into now. Yeah. Before it was like bangles and bracelets and stuff. Like I always had bangles and bracelets on. But just recently, probably in the last 2 years, I've been ODing on eyewear. Like yeah. So I would say right now, it's eyewear. It might change. But right now,
so it is. And I can see that because you definitely have some dope eyewear. I saw the Cartiers that you bought. You know, I'm just like, ooh.
And I didn't even know I was a Cartier fan. Like somebody had gifted me a pair, and I was like, "Oh, these kind of fly." Yeah. And then I saw the heart ones, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I gotta have them." And I'll probably buy another pair this year. Yeah. And yeah, they're just because like. I wear sunglasses at night, right? I'm that girl, right?
I like so Sakeya, like don't think that I'm bullshitting you or anything like that because I'm literally like it. I know that it was a reason why I was attracted to wanting to hear your story and wanting to get like to know more about you because your vibe was just so similar to mine. Because what I was gonna tell you is that when I was in middle school, I'll never forget. Like I used to be a part of this organization. This is when Aaliyah was out, like real heavy. And I used to I wouldn't care. I would wear my sunglasses at night. I would wear it when it rained. And they're like, what are you trying to do? Like be Aaliyah? And I'm like, no, like I literally have been doing this my whole life.
I don't know. So yeah, I'm the girl. Yeah, I wear sunglasses at night. And so I try to be, halfway respectful. And I just ain't gonna loke you out, like blacked out everything. So I try to like get some color, something to where it's not as offensive.
Yeah, like I've chilled out with it, but yes, like I see it, but I love it. I love your style, and I did see like where you said that it's a vibe, it's a feeling, and people who just are naturally gifted at fashion, it's just like you can look at anything and put it together and make it dope. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, like, I know that you are a fashion icon and a fashion stylist, and you're dope at fashion. But admittedly, I know sometimes we kind of we look back and we're like, what the hell was I thinking? So, like, give me a time that you can like vividly remember where you like, okay, it was just off. Like your fashion sense was off. Like you just like, what was I thinking?
I was in high school, and I remember. I went to the junior prom, and I wanted to wear a tuxedo. And was awful. And I was killing them that night. Right. But when I look back at the picture, I was like, I got mad at my dad. Like, why did you pay for this? Like, why did you even allow this? And I wanted to, like, I think I had on like the jacket with the tails in the back. And instead of having on the pants, I had on like shorts, like Daisy Duke type shorts, and then like fishnets, and it just was wrong on like so many fronts. But that's the boldness in me. Like, I'm coming to the prom, I'm wearing a tuxedo. Right. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me. Period.
I got you.
And that's how I felt about the situation.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. So if you had to choose, or I would say, since you always seem to have shown up in life being bold, what's a misconception about you that people have? That I'm mean. That you're mean. I get that a lot. Yeah. And I'm not overly friendly. Yeah. But I'm not mean. Yeah. And I just think, I don't know, like I just, people feel like I'm unapproachable. Okay. I would say, maybe let's not say mean, just unapproachable. So yeah, that's a big misconception. All right, if you had to choose between the two, would it be beauty or brains? Brains. Brains. Why? Because beauty fades, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you're smart, you're smart. You know what you know. You know what I mean? So that's not debatable. That's not left up to interpretation. Right. So I'm always gonna go with that. I love that. I love that answer. And I also love how committed and dedicated you are in the field of STEM and in making sure that underprivileged kids of color, girls more specifically, are introduced to fields in the STEM industry that most likely will go to males. And so tell me how you got your start with STEM Xposure. Like, why were you drawn to that? Well, my aunt, she started the nonprofit STEM Xposure about 5 years ago. Okay. And her background is in architectural design and construction. Mm-hmm. So she had been, doing these camps. They had just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And she approached me probably about 3 years ago when I first came home. And she said, like, hey, Sakeya, I want you to start a STEM beauty program. And at the time, I really just didn't see the correlation, right? Like what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But when I started researching it, I was like, whoa, like, this where the money resides. Like, all that other stuff that we think is beauty and being in the beauty industry, like, this where the check at, right? Right. And so everybody is always talking about, like, the educational gap and the wealth gap between Blacks and other races and things like that. So it's like, what better way to close that gap is to identify careers where people can make a lot of money, right? And when you tend to think about STEM careers or the beauty industry, you think about it just like how I thought about it, and probably how a lot of other people think about it, like aesthetic driven, right? Like how tall you are, what shade are you, what complexion are you, your cheekbones, the bridge of your nose, your eyes, your lips. Like, that's what we're thinking about. You're not thinking about being a botanist, or being a chemist, or being a product developer, or being an esthetician, or being a scientist. You're not thinking about that. And so my motivation, because I'm a firm believer, you can only make educated decisions when you have options, right? If you ain't got no options, you got to go with what you got, but if you got options, you can make better choices and better decisions. So my goal was really to just educate these young girls and show them that this is an option,
right? I'm not pretending to make scientists or build botanists. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to show you, hey, while you looking over here, you could look over here, right? And what young girl doesn't love beauty? What young girl doesn't love makeup and hair products and all this stuff? So, and they might feel like because they don't look a certain way, that there's no room for them in this space. And so I wanted to show them, like, yeah, not only is it room, but these are careers that you can have for 20, 30, 40 years. You can only be an influencer for 6 months. And then somebody else gonna come and TikTok you right up out your spot. You know what I mean? So, but you could be a scientist for 30 years, you know? And so I just wanted to change that narrative of what it looked like to be in the beauty industry. And if you can find a way to marry your passion for science and beauty, you can live a very fulfilled life.
I like that. I really respect it and I love it a lot because, you know, in being in education as well, because I've been an educator, you know, close to 20 years. And so me seeing that, you know, the mission and the principles that the organization stands behind, and then looking at the videos and the field trips that occur, the camps that occur, like, I'm like, this is a dope and essential program. And so, you know, I love the work that you're doing with that. I love when someone can be multifaceted and not just be like, you know, with tunnel vision, but you can also use your influence to gauge other areas, you know, to make other people want to embark on those things as well. And so that's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing with the girls. And so what gives you the most pleasure when you see them and you're interacting with them?
Just hearing the stories. Like, one story that really just kind of touched me last year, one of the young ladies that was in the camp, her grandmother was volunteering that day. And that so happened to be the day that Neiman Marcus came in and did a presentation. And Neiman's, shout out to Neiman's, they were like one of my first major sponsors that really like stepped up to the plate. So the young lady's grandmother, you know, I was in the back talking to her and she kind of was like misty eyed, like, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, you know, I remember when I was Zuri's age, who was her granddaughter, she was like, I remember I wasn't even allowed to go into a store like Neiman Marcus. Like, listen to the word she used, allowed. Like, she done went back to Jim Crow and segregation days, you know what I mean? And so she's like, you know, I wasn't even allowed to go into a store like this. So to see them here, like doting over these young girls, you know, talking to them about the most iconic fashion brand in the world, which is Chanel, and giving them products and telling them about the story of Coco Chanel. A lot of people don't know. They think she came from like this place of influence. Like, she was an orphan. You know what I mean? She lived with a family and she had a very hard life. You know what I mean? And she was able to pull herself up by the bootstraps and become the most iconic fashion brand in the world. You know, so for these young ladies to be able to experience that, and that was very important as well. Like, because I do my program in the summer, but I wanted to keep the girls engaged throughout the year. So we took a field trip to the actual Neiman Marcus store in Tampa. And I wanted them to go during the holidays because I wanted the store to be decorated, you know, really nice. And I wanted them to see that. And I wanted them, it was more about representation for me, right? Because as Black women, we sometimes feel like we don't belong a certain place, or we don't deserve certain things, or Black women don't deserve to live a luxurious life, or things are for them and not for us. You know what I mean? And I wanted to show them, like, hey, you deserve everything in the world that you're willing to work for, right? Yeah. So if you want this life, if you want to be able to come in Neiman Marcus and spend $500 on perfume and $10,000 on bags, get to work. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But you're not exempt. This is they didn't make this stuff for everybody but y'all. You know what I mean? They made it for any and everybody that's willing to put the work in and want to live the life that they want to live. So that was very important to me. Like, I'm all about inclusion and representation. I feel like a lot of people don't think stuff can be done till somebody else do it. So, you know, that's just what that's just what I'm all about. Like, I'm gonna show you what it looked like, so you don't have no excuses and no reason to why you can't do it.
I absolutely. And that's exactly what you are doing, because the time and the investment that you're putting in right now, definitely it is going to come back. And so I love hearing those stories. Like, I'm always for the underdog, the underserved, people who go through trials and tribulations, which is the whole backing behind the reason why I even started this podcast. And so, we see the light of a person, we see the silver lining of the person, we see, the polished person. But listen, we all go through struggles, we all go through trials, things that could have broken us, but we come out better on the other side if we learn how to navigate what we go through. And so in reading your biography and learning about your story, you became an author. You have 2 books out now, Fly Girl Approved, and then you have your Fly Girl Quotes. And I was reading, and in my research, it wasn't that, it kind of came by happenstance that you became an author, because you literally had some time on your hands, because you did serve a sentence in a federal prison over something that occurred to you. And it just, like, hearing the ins and outs of your story is inspiring. But I will tell you, even through you narrating what you've gone through, when you say that one of the attributes that you have is that you're very bold and you show up in a bold way, throughout listening to your story, you never broke that trait. And I'm like, this girl, like, has been through, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you was to tell me that I'm gonna go down, that I'm gonna go down for this dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, for somebody that I'm dating, and then under the trivial circumstances that you were sentenced under, I'm looking and I'm listening like, you've got to be kidding me. And no lawyer, not the $30,000 lawyer that you were paying, none of that, like your connections, none of that helped you, because you was in feds, sis. And it just was a formula. It just was a formula, and you got what you got. And so, it's not even like you came from that background, but you navigated the hell out of that situation. And so, with this show, it is used as a tool to show that anyone can make a comeback. And so I just wanted you to share, what you consider, and that may not even be like the comeback story that you even want to share, but do you consider that right now in this moment to still be something that, like, the biggest thing that you've overcome in your life so far?
I wouldn't say it was the biggest. I would just say it was the most recent. But to kind of back up, I don't like to say that I went to prison because of a guy, right? Because I was very aware of what I was doing. Yeah. Right? It's not a situation where it was like I'm blind to the fact and he got me doing something and I'm unbeknownst to me, and this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was very aware of what was going on. I knew what was going on. I was compensated for what was going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just didn't think, because my hands had never touched anything. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm like, shit, I'm just making a phone. Hey, whoop, 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 whoop. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I'm thinking, because I'm not actually in the field, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, what? Like, because when you hear the word conspiracy, it's just so, they gonna play in your face. You face it. Woo, woo, woo. It's gonna be all that. They gonna do all that. So it's like, when you hear it, it sounds so massive, right? But it's really not. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, they gonna pull as many people as they could pull in to get who it is that they want to get. And a lot of people gonna end up being collateral damage. You know what I mean? I was one of those people. And that's just the reality of it, of the situation. And it's like, with me, it was more so like a redirection, right? Because I was like hanging out with people that I shouldn't have been hanging out with. And I just think that if it didn't stop when it did, like it could have gotten ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it could have went to another place. So with me, I'm just really good at compartmentalizing things, right? Like when things happen to me, I'm not a person that lets things kind of roll over and keep going and snowball and get out of control. Like, I remember, because I was on pretrial for like 16 months, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember when people found out what happened, like they were just shocked, because they were just like, how could you be going through all this and still be Sakeya, right? And my thing was just like, I'm only gonna focus on them when I gotta focus on them. Like, I'm gonna focus on going to court the day I gotta go to court. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna spend 18 months worrying about what could, would, should, because now that's 18 months they done stole from me, plus the 2 years I gotta give them. It's like, hell no.
Right.
And then when I first got arrested, I just got some real solid OGs that have been through this type of thing. And they sat me down and they told me best case scenario, worst case scenario. And they told me exactly how it's gonna play out. Like, they gonna do this, then they gonna do this, then you gonna have to do this, and then they gonna do this, and then, like, step by step. Mm-hmm. So it's like, the thing that I think scares people with the feds or any type of criminal case is the unknown, right?
Right.
Because you don't know what's gonna happen. But if I know that the max they could give me is 2.5 years, I can accept that, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that that's the max and I don't qualify for the max, okay, I can accept that. 2 years, 26 months, all right, cool, I can accept that. Let me go on and live my life, and then when it's time to do that part of my life, I could do that part, you know? And so that's just how I just deal with things in general, you know? Like, I met so many women that, you know, might have been on pretrial for 2-3 years, and they stressed, they done gained all this weight. So I'm like, damn, you done got fat, you know what I mean? Like, you don't let these people just break. Like, what? Nah.
Right.
Like, nah, we not doing that. And so that's, you know, that kind of was my thing. Like, I had a plan when I went in. Like, I didn't want to do all the jail stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be crocheting, and I'm not, like, I ain't here for all that. I don't want to be friends. I got real friends in real life. I have a real life outside of this. I just got to do my time. And once I do my time.
Well, before going into that, because I just realized some people may not know what we're even talking about. Okay. But tell everybody what you were charged with, how it all happened, etc.
I was charged with conspiracy. I had 1 count of conspiracy, and I had 1 phone.
Yep, you're good. Y'all stop calling
me. No, that was Tamika, actually. One count of conspiracy, 1 count of phone something to do with a telephone. And basically, like, I had introduced my guy that I was dating at the time to another one of my friends, and they both, you know, were street guys, and they were dealing drugs. And so I introduced them together, and they went on to do some business. And my boyfriend at the time was under investigation. So with him being under investigation, they had his phone tapped, right? So they had conversations between him and I about, you know, like the other guy, like the business that they were doing, or me setting them up or hooking them up like that. And so that's how I got charged with conspiracy.
Gotcha.
So just being a part of the operation.
I got you. And, you know, and it's, I wanted to dive into that, or even to just bring it to light, because, you know, in the proximity that we're in, you know, Orlando, Tampa, Polk County, etc., like, it's not like that's something that's uncommon, right? And sometimes you have a lot of females out here that are literally green, like green in terms of mentality. They don't know about that life. They're green also because that's what they're chasing as well, or they like it, and maybe not necessarily chasing it, but they like it, right? And so they don't know how to navigate these streets, right? I'm one of them. Like, I know people,
right?
You know, I have some people that I absolutely adore, but I know that they're about that life, right? So I know how to keep my distance or whatever. And so, and because of stories like yours and so many others, that I'm just like, I'm just, call me green. I'm afraid of it. Lord knows I would love for you to help me take this podcast to the next level, but boo, I ain't about that life. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I would fold, and I don't know if I would be able to have a plan like you did. But, you know, in listening to your story, it's like, you know, with the charges that you were facing, God definitely showed up in your case in several spots. Several
times.
And listening to you tell your story, I was so glad that you acknowledged that and realized that, because I'm like, how in the hell, like, they gave you time to do this, and then when this it's just,
I'm telling you. And one of my friends went with me to sentencing, and he was just like, in the history of the feds, I ain't never seen this happen ever. Like, and he was like, I can't wait for, like, your story to really be told. So, cause I mean, he was shaking. I'm like, what you shaking for? Like, what you nervous for? You about to go home. Regardless of what happened, you going home.
Right.
And he was like, baby girl, you don't understand. These people don't play fair. And then, like, you know, it was a situation with me in the AUSA. Because, like, you know, like the other girls that came in there, you know, they probably were a little green. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because my case was out of Alabama, right? And I was the only person that was from Atlanta. So all these other girls was from Alabama. So they, like, young, you know what I mean? They don't got no money. The guys is taking care of them, giving them little twos and fews. They live in trailer parks. You know what I'm saying? And here I come. I'm the only one from the city. So when I walk in the courtroom, it's obvious that I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like all of this, and then I'm the target's girlfriend, and he trying to paint the picture like I'm Griselda Blanco, and I'm just like, no, sir, that is not how this is going down, and I'm not even about to sit up here and let you play with my top like this. Right. Like, I'm just this drug dealer's girlfriend, and I didn't make this life for myself, because y'all been investigating this guy for 2 years. Y'all know when I came in. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know what I do. Like, y'all the feds. Stop playing with me. Right. So you're not about to paint this picture of me in front of the judge like, you know, we're not doing that. And so every time he tried to say something, I'm jumping, objection, and my lawyer's like, Sakeya, like, stop. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was a situation with the AUSA, and I went going for it. And like I told the judge, look, I did what I did, and I'm going to accept responsibility for what I did. But you're not going to just drag me like this. Like, no.
What
I'm not going for it. Yeah.
What you're not going to do.
Yeah.
And so how did you, like, through that talk to me about your plan when you went in. You know, the
my
mindset
plan.
that you had. What was your plan?
My
Because you put
plan.
it in a perspective, and I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but you put it into a perspective that I didn't necessarily think about, because you said that this is a time where, like, really no one else gets a chance to just kind of pause in your life and just really kind of recalibrate.
Right.
And I didn't look at it like that. Like, I literally didn't look at it like that. And I'm like, yeah, because, like, some people would have just been, oh, woe is me, or what am I going to do, or let me just survive, or like whatever, take on these different personas. But the way that you looked at it,
Yeah,
it was that was eye-opening for me.
yeah, because like it's hard to see things when you're in them, right? It's hard to see things when you're in it. And when you're going through your day-to-day life, most of your decisions come from a reactive place. Like something happened, you got to figure out how to fix it or turn it around or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very rarely do we have an opportunity to be proactive, right, and set certain things in motion that we want to be set in motion. So when I went in when I was 39, and I turned 40, I spent one birthday and I turned 40. So 40, you know, it's a milestone, right? So I figured, like, okay, I've lived an amazing first half of my life, right? So let me figure out how to set myself up for the second half of my life, right? Because my God tells me that my latter days are going to be better than my former days. Mm-hmm. So if I could gauge my life up until 40, I say I was a strong 8.5. So if my latter days are going to be better than that, boy, I got some good days coming. Yeah. And that's just the attitude that I had. So what I did, I'm a thinker and I'm a writer, right? So I always wrote, like, okay, these are my strengths. Mm-hmm. These are my strong points. This is what I love to do. This is what I do if I never made $1 from it. So let me figure out how to make money from what it is that I want to do. And then what I will say is I was just really blessed with a strong support system, right? Mm-hmm. So like I didn't lose people along the way. And I that's one of the things that is very difficult about being incarcerated, because people just kind of fall off, right? And so I just had a very strong support system. You know, 95% of the people that I started with was there when, you know, it was over. And I worked in the entertainment industry for 20 years and I built solid, strong relationships. So I knew that there was always going to be a space and a place for me. Mm-hmm. Once I got home. I just had to get home, right? Yeah. And it's like, I didn't have that, what I'm going to do when I get home. It was like, get me home. Like, once I get home, like I'm telling my counselors and stuff, and they're like, well, you know, what kind of assistance I don't need nothing from y'all but to open the gate and let me go on about my business. I don't need none of y'all programs. I don't need y'all halfway house. I don't need nothing. I'm good. You know what I mean? I just need to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And so once I set my mind on that, and that was my focus, I just tried to do everything. I tried to do something every day that was going to help keep that goal sharp, keep it fresh. Whether it was working out, whether it was writing, whether it was teaching myself French, whether it was, you know, learning how to play chess, like just doing different things to keep my mind sharp and just understanding, okay, you're getting closer, Yeah. And then once I came home, once you got a plan, it's very easy to execute a plan, mm-hmm. right? Especially when you break it down into actionable steps. So I'm just executing my plan. Like everything I said I was going to do, like I'm literally doing it. Yeah.
So what was part of your plan when you were in? Was it how did the book come about? And it's so crazy because one of my good friends, Fiscani, shout out to Fiscani, she has a showroom in Atlanta. I actually had my book signing from my Atlanta stop there. And
I remember when Fiscani opened that showroom, and from that time to where she is now, it's probably the biggest one outside of like LA and New York. Like she's colossal. Okay, like it's colossal. So me and her spoke all the time while I was away. And so the plan was for me to come back to Atlanta, and she wanted me to work with her at the showroom, and then we would expand it to another city or different cities. And so unbeknownst to me, I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to go, I'm going to get out, I'm going to come back to Atlanta, get on with my life. And it's not like that, right? So when it was almost time for me to go, you know, you talk to your counselor, they ask you about like your family, your living arrangements and things like that. And they're like, well, Sakeya, who are you gonna, you know, we need an address to where you're going to go live at. And I was just like, well, I'm gonna get a place when I get home. And they're like, well, how are you gonna do that? I'm like, I'm gonna find a place and go get a place. You know, I'm not understanding why they not understanding. Like, and so they're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they was like, well, how are you gonna pay for it? I'm like, I have money. Like, I never told y'all I had like financial issues. Like, I got a family. Like, I'm gonna be good. Just sign these papers so I can go. And they're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. And so it was like, we have to release you to somewhere. Like a probation officer has to go out and examine, look at the place and make sure the place is, you know. So, and I'm just like, what you mean go somewhere? I don't know. Like, my family don't live in Atlanta, right? I got friends that live in Atlanta, but all my friends is young, hot, turned, and single like me. Like, they live in condos and stuff. And I don't, you know, I don't live with people. Like, that ain't what I do. And so I had one friend that was like not in the life. You know, like she lived in the suburbs, she got kids, married, big house, but her husband was a firearms instructor. So I couldn't go there because of the guns. And so they were like, well, where's your family? And I was like, my family's in Florida, and then my dad's in Michigan. And they was like, well, you should go to Florida because it'll be easy. Because so with the feds, right, they have to release you to the district that your case is out of. So technically, they was really trying to send me to Alabama. I'm like, I don't live in Alabama. I ain't from Alabama. I don't know nobody. I know I am not going to Alabama. So if you want to go to a place that's not the district where your case is out of, they have to sign off on it. And so they explained to me like that Michigan doesn't like to allow people to come in that don't have their case out of Michigan. So I'm like, well, what is, all right, whatever. And so they was like, Florida would be easy. And it was like, you know, you only have to go down there until your sentence is up, and then you can move, you could transfer and move wherever it is you want. So my goal was to come to Tampa, stay in Tampa, because I had to be on house arrest for 2 months. So my goal was to come to Tampa, do the house arrest for 2 months, and then I was going to move back to Atlanta. But then once I came to Tampa, things just started working for me. And I'm so close to Atlanta. Like, I'm in Atlanta at least 5 to 7 days out of the month. Oh, wow. So it's people don't even know I don't still live in Atlanta. Like, I'm there so much, people think I still live there. So I was like, okay, let me try Tampa for a little bit. And things just started happening and doors started opening. And I was able to use like my resources and my influence from Atlanta in Tampa, which made me be able to navigate through the city much, 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 much quicker.
Yeah. I like that. I love that. I love that so much. Because to me, it just seems to me, whenever you are living truly in your passion and you are putting in the work, it's like everything that you just explained, like God will open up those doors whenever you do your work. Like you write the vision, you make it plain, and you do the work. You know what I mean? So
you got to give God something to bless.
Yes.
Right? You got to give him something to bless. You can't be out here just doing nothing and think that all these miracles is just going to rain upon you. Absolutely. Like you gotta do the work. Put some work in. So listen, while we were
while we were talking, I was hoping you didn't hear a door open or anything like that, did you?
No, because I got people just walking in, they filming all
It's just
behind
that
the
hour.
scenes.
It's just that hour. So like I caught hell trying to order from Amazon and to have it here. So like legitly, like your books just came to my door. Like my son, I had my son. I'm like, be on the lookout because it needs to come, and like he's tiptoeing, and I'm like, give me the package.
They're
Like
here. They're here.
like he's
Oh,
not
so we gonna
understanding
do
what
an
I'm.
unboxing. We about to do a Fly Girl unboxing.
I'm trying to tell you. So listen, I'm like, I was so excited. I'm like, thank you, Lord. It came when the interview was on. I was like, I don't want her to think I'm flossing. Like, I'm not gonna ask for a free copy because when people come on my
Well,
show,
thank you for the support.
absolutely. Absolutely. And so don't kill me, sis, because I am going to go back and order the quote. And so, but I do have Fly Girl too. I do have Fly Girl too. I'll be like, dang it. I should have, like, I didn't realize it until I hit submit that you could have bundled it. So when y'all purchase it, because I'm going to be banging people over the head with this, like in their inboxes and everything else. There we go. There's a complete set, right?
Yeah.
So
Boom,
you
boom.
guys, when you go on Amazon, you make sure you get both of them. You get the quotes and you also get Fly Girl approved. And so, listen, I'm excited to dig in because typically I would have read this and we would be talking all about it, but I'm gonna let you do it. So give us a precursor to what they can expect because I love me. Oh my gosh, when I saw that you had a quote book, so I'll be waiting another day for that. You'll see it another day for that. Look, that's what I'm saying, right? So like the quote, like if you look on my page or whatever, I try to give inspiration because I get inspiration through quotes. I am a quote person, so I definitely have to top that. But tell us about the book because this was your first one.
So that's my baby, and I wrote Fly Girl quotes in 2017, 2018, right? So I remember I started it when I first got picked up, when I first got arrested, and I was on not home confinement, I was on pretrial, and writing a book was always on my list of things to do because I feel like in order to be considered an expert in anything, you have to have like some sort of published literature that people can reference, right? So it had always been my goal to write a book, but of course, I'm outside, I'm popping, I'm outside. I don't have time to sit down and write no book.
Right.
But you get in trouble,
Oh, you got some time.
You got to sit that thing down a little bit.
Right,
So,
come over here. I am going to keep you for a minute. Just a minute now. I don't hold you for long, but just for a minute.
Just take a seat. So the premise behind Fly Girl Approved is fashion based, but it's just lifelong things, right? Yeah. So what I did is I wrote about things that as a young woman becoming and coming into their own, like things every fly girl should have, right?
Yeah.
So I took every letter of the alphabet and I wrote about a different topic or item or something like that. So some of my favorites are like, I think for B, I wrote about bangles, right? Because like I told you before sunglasses and frames became my thing, it was bracelets and bangles and things like that. So I always feel like that's the easy way to elevate a look, right? Then for like M, I remember I wrote about Mad Money. And I felt like that was important to touch on because, as women, fly girls, we sometimes find ourselves in situations where you're in relationships that aren't healthy, that aren't growing. Some might be abusive. And because you haven't financially secured yourself, you might have to stay in this relationship a little longer than you need to, right? So I always think that in those type of situations, you always got to have mad money. You always got to have a stash. Like if you got to get up out of there, you got to get up out of there, And so I thought that was important. I wrote about insurance, right? That's important, right? Because you can't be having a GoFundMe to bury you and you a fly girl, and just with anything, renter's insurance, life insurance, health insurance, insurance on your phone, insurance, like insure your stuff. Like that's what it's there for, So it was just like little tidbits and things, just a fun read. I had this designer, Kalichi. He did all of my illustrations in the book. Like they were really dope. What are some more topics I wrote about? Oh, I wrote about denim jacket. I'm a sucker for a denim jacket. I probably got about 5 or 6 of them. And I just call it like the magical third piece. You put a denim jacket on and it changes like the whole look. Actually, the illustration that we use for the denim jacket is actually a replica of myself in an event that I had attended. And I actually wore a ball gown. Yeah, I actually wore a chiffon ruffled ball gown. And then I put a denim jacket over it. Yeah. And people went crazy. Like, the people went crazy. Like, oh my God. It's groundbreaking. She mixed Vera Wang and Calvin Klein. Like, how dare she? So it was like one of those moments. So it's a cool read. I'm very proud of it. It meant a lot to me. I'm very big on like seeing things all the way to the end. It's one thing to have a dream. It's another thing to make it happen. You know what I mean? And it's my baby, and I'm really proud of it. So
and you should be like you girl. You literally like you are on a book tour.
I'm on a book tour currently.
A book tour.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely I'm enthralled. Like I love it. Because I'm still navigating in this whole social media thing. Good Lord, it's not gonna be the death of me because I'm learning a whole lot about it because I know that with this podcast, I have a background in broadcast journalism. And so it's just like this is a passion of mine. This is a baby of mine and just a true testament. Like you may have never have had to go through this struggle, but it's just like, oh my gosh, like I need 500,000 people watching this live right now. Like where y'all at? But it's just like, the coins and the jewels with it. It's like, I feel that no matter how I see this, they're literally like, if I said Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast, someone in the room is going to know about it. I'm like, you do? I'm like, dang, God, like you're working, like the impact is amazing. Yeah. And so I'm like, when I look at you and you literally, I don't know if you had to go through like that groundwork phase where it just didn't come, where it was just like, okay, boom, I'm making moves, I'm making moves. But it's just like, good Lord, show me a sign. But it's like what the cool thing about it, like I said, is when you do that work, like God is going to see it and he's going to continue to open those doors for you. And so I watch you when you're on your book tour and I'm watching like the connections that you're making and the impact that you are making with this book. Cause I can imagine that you help the females that you were incarcerated with. I'm pretty sure you're like inspiration to them. Like, do you still keep in contact with them?
A lot of them. A lot of them. Actually, a couple of them came to my book signing in Atlanta. They were there, and one of them actually, before I hopped on, she was like, because there's a like Facebook page for the prison that I went to. So sometimes I'll just update and it's really just to kind of keep in touch with people. Mm-hmm. And because the thing about it is, like, if you ever had an opportunity to talk to somebody that I was locked up with, they'll tell you like the same person that I am now, like I was that in there. Yeah. Like,
I love that.
I dreamed big, I talked big, I was very confident in what it is that I was going to do. Like, I was very intentional about how I spent my time. I wasn't in there with all the bullshit that be going on in there. It was like, y'all do that, I'm gonna do this. and then I see you on the outside.
Right.
And then we'll really see if what everybody was talking about, if they really gonna be about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even like with my book tour, you know, this was the brainchild of my friend Clay, who I had told you that had put in play the TI thing years and years and years ago. And unfortunately, Clay recently passed away about a month and a half ago, and it was very, very like just tough, right? But I remember talking to him like at the beginning of the year and telling him like, hey, I'm about to drop my book, you know, I want to do a little thing. He like, nah, we ain't doing that. Like, we going on tour. Like, you got to work this thing like an album. Like, you got to do a rollout. You got to do interviews. You got to, you know, and when I went to Atlanta, you know, I did an interview with Ryan Cameron, who has like 1.3 million listeners every day on his thing. You know, I did an interview. Next day I did Greg Street from the Braves Truist Stadium opening day. You know what I mean? So I'm really out here moving this book like it's an album. Like, I'm promoting it like it's an album. I'm doing skits. I'm doing commercials. I'm doing like, because because it's, you know, if you don't bet on yourself, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't think it's colossal, ain't nobody else gonna think it's colossal.
No,
you know, don't put little in front of nothing I'm doing. Everything I'm doing is big on big. Listen, this what it is. We here in all the cities, we pulling up, we making a movie. That's just the reality of it. Like, no.
Yes. Look, and I'm like, look, I'm all chill, but when I'm not, because I just ran into somebody, and then we were talking on the phone, and he was like somebody that just, you know, just met like business wise, you know, and someone was like, he would be a good prospect for your podcast. So it's just like, you know, the sifting process, and just like, okay, well, he was like, oh yeah, so we got to the little buddy phase where it's just like, okay, we broke the ice, and it's like, okay, you cool, I'm cool. Yeah. He's like, yeah, so I see you a little. And I said, you see what? And he was like, no, not your look, not your look. No, I was like,
flag on the play.
Here's what I do. I don't play about this.
My words, my words are so powerful. Like, I don't even play like that. I don't, everything. Like, I remember, I have a group of girls that I you know, correspond with through a Instagram group we have. And I remember we did a meetup probably like November of last year, and we were talking about going into 2023. And I was like, look, everything is colossal. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be, but everything is colossal. And now, like, that's the word of the group. Like, anytime somebody do something, you know, big, everybody's like, oh, that's colossal. It's like, it's a mind thing. Like, you got to go big on big. Like, this a big world. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, my goal is to impact and touch as many people as I can. Like, when I leave this earth, like, they gonna have to have my funeral at like Raymond James Stadium. Like, I'm gonna be touch that many people. Yeah, I'm gonna touch that many people. Like, that's what it's gonna be, and that's my goal. And it's like, you know, I gotta show people how to respond to me, right? So if I think highly of myself and I move in that way, you don't got no choice but to fall in line. You can't approach me talking about little what?
Right.
Show me one thing I did that was little.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Just one. Show me just one thing that I did was little, and then I give some credit to what it is that you're saying. But we going colossal. We doing it bigger than the 5X over here.
Gargantuan. Okay.
Sir.
Real big, colossal. Yes. Listen, so I wanted you to end with telling everyone how they can get in contact with you, because I honestly, like, my last question was going to be like, if you had to give somebody the play, like what would be the play in life? But I feel like you have summed it up, unless you have like some other gems. But I'm like, that's what it is. It's that, you know, you can make a comeback, but you have to have the mindset to do it as well. And it's just like, you cannot think small. You have to think big, you know?
Colossal. A lot. Think big.
All right.
Well, my thing is, like I always tell people, like, you got to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
You got to put all the chips, push them to the middle, and bet on yourself. And yeah, that's just what it gotta be. And actually, I'm here at my studio. I don't know if y'all can see because my chair might
Look,
be
we
in the
see you.
way.
I've been peeping it this whole
Hold on.
time. I'm
Let
like,
me see my chair.
diamond bezeled leather chair. Let's go.
So I'm here at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the set of my new show.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's called the Invisible Influencer Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the premise of the Invisible Influencer is to highlight people. Ooh, this chair. Is to highlight people that are really behind the scenes, that's really making it go.
Yeah.
And you don't really see them because you see the front side, right? So I myself am an invisible influencer, right? And I was that for 20 years in my styling career.
Yeah.
So it's like, you see my clients, but I'm the person, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see Tip wearing these suits. He didn't pick them out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that was kind of the premise of the show. Like, for me to highlight people that don't necessarily want to be in the spotlight, don't necessarily crave the spotlight, but they the power players and the ones that's really, you know, running the game. And so I've probably shot about 5 or 6 episodes for that. And just, I've had a lot of dope people on so far. I had Austin Parker on a few weeks ago. He's a sports agent. A couple of his clients went to the draft over the weekend. I had a young lady, Tamika, on last week. She's a tour coordinator for all of the major tours that go. You know, she do the Mary J. Blige tour. She about to go on tour with Janet, you know, like hop on Janet tour. So it's like, you see all these people, you know, performing, but you're not understanding the person that's making everything go in the back to give you that, you know, that experience. You know, I had a friend of mine, my friend Ashley Rodriguez. She's a branding and marketing specialist. She helps launch people's brands and you know, help them you know, put their brands in the forefront. And it's like, you probably brought a product from a brand that she helped create. So that was kind of like my thought process for developing that. So that's what I'm working on now. Actually, I'm still on my book tour. I just did an event at Oxford Exchange here. I opened my registration today for my STEM program. Actually, today's the first day of registration. The Science of Beauty, it'll be hosted here in Tampa, July 31st through August the 5th. I'm super excited about it. Like, it's going to be bigger and better. Last year, I impacted 25 girls. This year, my goal is 40 girls. We've brought some amazing sponsors on since last year. Neiman's is going to return as a title sponsor. Chanel is returning as a title sponsor. We picked up AT&T as a sponsor. Estee Lauder. I just got the email today that Sephora is one of our newest sponsors, so I'm super excited about that. Joe Malone, Verizon Wireless, Carrabba's is going to cater the whole week of lunch for the girls, so they're going to be eating good. Yeah, I feed my girls. So I'm really excited about the camp, and it's just it's so fulfilling to know, like, that this started off as like a couple of notes in my phone. You know what I mean? And now I'm, you know, I'm on the phone with marketing and PR directors from Chanel and Neiman Marcus, and they're putting my program in their newsletters, and they're, you know, Sephora is offering internships, you know, to my students to be a part of after they finish the program and graduate. And so, like I said, it's just like, of all the things that I've ever done, like, this is going to be my legacy, right? This is what people are going to remember me for. They're not going to remember the time I put Nikki in the fishnet thing. Like, they're not going to remember that. You know, my goal is to make as many beauty disruptors as I can, you know, and change the face of what it looks like to work in the beauty industry. So I'm just super excited about that. And also another program that I'm actually developing under the umbrella of my STEM program is I'm doing a hygiene workshop called The Science of the Body. I love right that. And I just wasn't aware that personal hygiene was an issue. You know, for young girls. I didn't know that. It was brought to my attention, and then I started doing some research about it. So I was contacted by Hillsborough County Public Schools to do a pilot program. So I'm going to be doing a pilot program this summer at Slide Middle School here in Tampa. Awesome. And I'm looking to partner with like Honey Pot and Athleta. And it'll be a day focused on the body. So I'm going to have a nutritionist there. I'm going to have a gynecologist there. I'm going to have a mental health specialist there, because I'm sorry, not mental health. Personal hygiene, or the lack thereof, can lead to so many things, right? And as young women, like, you do not want that stigma on you about your body. You know what I mean? So this is just a way to kind of educate them so that they understand what is actually happening to their bodies. And it's not weird. It's not, you know, wrong. It's just what's happening. And we're going to show you how to navigate and transition, you know, into that puberty stage. And
that's big.
Yeah,
it's big.
So I'm excited
and
about
coming
that.
from the school system, it's needed. Like, it's so needed. And so for you to be able to bring it, and not just in the form of a health class that everybody's like, oh, here's another health class, and like, I love what you're doing with it, because I'm pretty sure, like, just the people that you have on your roster right now, it's gonna make a young lady excited about getting to know her body, and excited about exfoliating, excited about learning about her pH and how hormones affect this and affect that. I'm telling you, because I wanted to do something like that for my boys. I'm like, and I talk to them, I'm like, so I just do the motherly thing. I'm just like, because you ain't gonna grow up being a man, and I have to like slow myself down, because I'm like, okay, how old are y'all? Like, I'm like, because look, I'm gonna demonstrate how you wash.
Like, a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Facts. And Sakeya, I love that. That's a very good platform that you are about to do and program, because just the fundamentals of taking care of your body, they don't know. So to be able to do it and then get a little hint of some luxurious brands, that's amazing. I like it. Hell, I want to come. Invite me.
I will, girl. I will.
Invite me. So listen, tell everybody how they can keep in contact with you, because I definitely want people to know more about you and support all of your efforts. Look, I need to bring a whole truck of people, a whole bus of people with me on your next stop on your book tour. So let us know. Let us know.
You can follow me. I'm on Instagram. That's the platform that I'm on the most. Sakeya Da Great, SakeyaDa Great, Great. You can find my books on Amazon, Fly Girl Quotes, Fly Girl Approved. For information about the STEM camp, www.stem, Xposure, Xposure educator.com. Find the Science of Beauty tab. It'll tell you all about the program. You can register your young ladies ages 10 to 17. I'm very vocal about this program is for African American girls. I'm unapologetic about that. Like,
Yes.
they have what they have. This
Listen.
is for us. Yeah.
Yes.
So that part. So yeah, so if you have a young lady in the Tampa Bay area, I mean, it's an amazing 6-day camp that I do. I do it at the Glacier Children's Museum in downtown Tampa.
Nice
Like
museum. Let's go, Sakeya.
listen, we not at the community center at the park. I mean, even if we
That's
was,
right.
that'd be a good. If we was, that would be a nice thing. But
like you said,
colossal. We at the Glacier. We on the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
When the girls look out the window, they see water.
I know that's right.
It's a different vibe.
Listen.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like listen, everything a 10 around here.
Yeah.
We don't half step on nothing. We don't. We not doing that. We not doing that. So yeah, Glacier Children's Museum, July 31st through August 5th, 10 a.m., 3 p.m., ages 10 to 17. Sign them up.
Absolutely, absolutely. And don't forget to get, where's your other half? Don't forget to get Fly Girl Approved and Fly Girl Quotes. Get the set, okay? Don't be like me.
Those.
Get the set.
Those.
And now I got to wait for my quotes to come in. For anyone that orders off of Amazon, please write a review, please.
Oh, absolutely. Reviews are important.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were. I didn't care about them, but my marketing people told me, you got to get reviews. You got to get reviews. You got to ask for reviews. So I'm asking. Please.
Yes, you do. Listen, and when I post this video, so everybody can look at the replay, I definitely will make sure I put that in the notes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so, Sakeya, it has been a pleasure to finally get to interview you, to talk to you one-on-one. I hope you've enjoyed the experience. I feel like you dropped several gems on this podcast, and you've motivated me. I know that you've motivated my audience, and just know that you are now a part of the Jazzy crew. So, when I get my little paraphernalia, when I get my little merch, get my little merch for you, definitely get you a shirt. Hey. I wish we would have had some goodie mog on the way going out. But listen.
I was going to say some Tampa Tony. Keep juking.
Hey,
looking. What's cooking?
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, this has been so fun. Yes. I cannot wait to connect and run into paths with you in the future, the near future, because I know it will definitely happen. I have enjoyed you for episode 78.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. You have an open invitation, so just say the word and look. I got
we back. We back.
All right, so everyone out there, this has been episode 78 of the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast. Make sure that you follow, you subscribe, and you like, you comment, you hit that notifications bell on all of your podcast streaming platforms. I am on YouTube, IG, and Facebook. That's Jazzy, Jazzie, Conversations with Jazz. And I will see you back here on next Monday at 7 p.m. for episode 79. You guys have a great night. See you later, Sakeya the Great. Hey, bye, girl. Hey, Fly Girl Approved. I love it. Have a good night. Thanks.